welcome everybody. This is week 2 of our robotics class. Woohoo! I hope that your week 1 went super well and that you guys are getting adjusted to being back in school and just getting used to making up your schedule and everything. So this week what we'll be doing for robotics is continuing our review, and we should finish it up this week. And so hopefully last week you took notes, and then this week what you'll be doing for your homework is filling in the review sheet. So everybody should have received this review sheet. So I did email it out, and I also posted it on the website. So it has 9 questions, and these are all questions that we went over last week or we will be going over this week. And it's all a review of different things that we've been learning about robotics since we started with it. So hopefully for the older kids, right, this is a lot more familiar since you've been doing it for a couple of years, right? Okay, so let me go to the PowerPoint and I will continue. So this is part 2, reasons for robots, okay? So let me put it on. And here we go. So when we think about reasons for robots, right? And nowadays more so, we really need robots a lot because they can help, especially with everything that we've been going through with the coronavirus. We have been seeing robots really coming in and helping and working alongside people and making things safer for them. A lot of the robots, they work in hospitals, they help to disinfect. They also help to deliver things. And so we're really seeing the positives of robotics and how it can really come in and help communities to make their lives easier and safer, right? Okay, so a few of the different types of robots. There's robots for entertainment, right? We see robots where people just use them to have fun. There's domestic robots like the Roomba, where it actually vacuums your house for you. There are industrial robots. They work in factories and they help to build cars and different things. There's medical robots. So these can be used with surgery. There's robots that go to outer space and go into the deep sea. And then there's military robots, right? And we're going to take a look at some short video clips today of some of these different types of robots. And I love to share these clips because they really help you guys to see firsthand how these robots are making a difference in the world and what they look like and what they do. And this right here is one of the military robots. And you can look, you're just like, wow, that's amazing. And last year we looked at a video of this in action, and it's really insane to see how it can run and how it can go on different terrain. And when it falls, it gets back up. It's really an amazing sight. Okay, so let's move on. So reasons for robots. There's just some jobs that robots are much better at than people, right? And so we're going to take a look at the 4 Ds today. So the 4 Ds are the reasons that we make robots. So they usually fall under one of these categories, if not more than one. So the first one is dangerous. So creating robots that can go into a place or do a task that would harm a human, right? So we're going to take a look at some robots that do dangerous jobs. Dull jobs, right? A job where it's super repetitive. It can be pretty boring for a human to have to keep doing the task over and over again. So instead, they can have the robot do it. Dirty, going into an unpleasant place like a sewer or a mine. These jobs, you know, they also can be dangerous too. And so dirty robots, they can go into dirty places and it doesn't bother them, right? Because they're robots. So it can be much safer, especially if it's a place where, for example, humans, for them to breathe in the air in these places, it could, you know, in their life, it may cause cancer or other harmful diseases. And so we want to protect people. And instead, if we send the robot in, we know it's not going to harm them, right? And delicate robots. So these are robots that can do jobs that they might be a little bit difficult because we have something called tremor. And so we're not always perfectly still, right? And so a lot of the times, if we're working on something that requires precision, you know, we might make a mistake. It may not be perfect. But with a robot, they're able to, you know, just complete whatever the task is and do it in such a way where it can be precise. So we will take a look at that today as well. Okay, so let's look at the category of dangerous jobs. So some on the list that are included would be industrial welding, deep sea exploration, rescue response. These can all be jobs that can be dangerous for humans, right? So the video clip that I have for you today is a clip of a robot that it's a welding robot. So this is how people who work in the field of welding, they have to put on this whole protective gear here, and it's really heavy. And where they work is really hot. And so look at this, the flames are just coming out at the person. And so you think day in, day out of working a job like this, it can really take a toll on your body. And it can be dangerous because, you know, if something goes wrong, you could end up getting burned, right? And getting injured. So let's take a look. I'm going to put this clip on right now. So let me pull it up and then I will come back. Okay, so here is a quick video clip of a robot that is able to assist in the welding process. You can see there it is. It has an arm that comes out and is able to actually do the welding. This is really helpful because now the person that controls the robot is helping to assist, but they're not actually the one that is so close to the flame, and they're not the one that is having to do the welding into it. They're allowing the robots to take Okay, so I think that hopefully gave you a better idea of seeing how the robot is able to now make the job safer, right? And these are jobs that are needed for so many different things, like all of the buildings, you know, all of the different equipment and supplies that we need for cars and so many different things. Welding is such a big industry. So these robots can really make a difference in helping humans to make their jobs safer. I have so many videos, but I didn't want to show so many clips. But if you go on, even just go on YouTube and type in deep sea exploration robots or rescue robots, you will see so many different videos. You guys are going to, I'll probably give some sort of an assignment where you will have to research one of these robots because it really is worth your time to go in and spend more time on this. I'm just trying to kind of give a broad overview here and just some short video clips because I didn't want to make this video too long. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one, which are dull jobs. So cashier, repetitive assembly, drivers. I'm going to show you guys a pretty cool video clip of a driverless car in action. And I love to always every year ask the question, so how many of you guys would get into the car if it pulled up and there was no driver in it? If it just pulled up and it's like, I'm going to take you home. And it's like, would you get in? So let's take a look at some of the video clips that I have here. Let me pull. Okay, so this is a robot that helps with assembly line work. So in a factory, let me put the video and they'll explain what it does.
Based in Ashland, Oregon, Derrick's is a fourth-generation family-owned company that makes drill and knife sharpeners on fast-paced production lines with many repetitive and ergonomically unfriendly tasks. The company has now implemented universal robots in screwdriving and box erecting applications.
The reason that I got into automation is each year we add more and more products to our product line, and I need to be able to add that capacity in the same amount of space and with the same amount of people. The reason I don't just go get more employees is We kind of live in a small rural valley. We have quite a bit of competition as for the labor pool that exists. I started looking into universal robots. They appeared to be simple to program. I realized that they were collaborative, meaning I can have people work next to them without a bunch of caging, and the price was very competitive. To integrate our very first robot that we purchased, one of my engineers received the unit one day. He essentially took it out of the box and within an hour had it doing something. The first application that we've started using our UR3 for is screw driving. Traditionally, we would have an operator with a pneumatic screw gun. So the first thing that we did was program the robot to perform this task. It seemed to be low-hanging fruit. It was also a task that people did not like to do.
The screw driving application, it had some quality issues with screws being missing because the holes in the housing were kind of hard to see into. So with the robot, it won't miss any of the screws, it'll hit them all. We've seen the quality go up because of it. When we started with the UR and went so smoothly, we decided to take that next step and add the conveyor system and all the PLC controlling, the things like the pneumatic press, and add another UR robot on the boxing side of it. When I was looking at how I was going to control the entire system with the conveyor and all these different stations, I actually decided to go with the UR as the main controller for the entire system because the user's interface was so easy to use and it was so fast, and I could program that entire thing so quickly that I was really happy with that decision.
The first step that happens at the boxing station is the robot goes and grabs a box out of a cassette. It folds it into shape and sets it into a staging platform. It then goes and grabs 4 individual cartons and loads that case. When the case is full, it closes the lid and pushes it through the taping station. The boxes, they go across a check weighing conveyor to see that they weigh the right amount. If they do not, a signal from the check station is sent to the boxing robot to take that box and set it aside. It does not stop the line. The benefits of us having added automation to our production line, we're running about 27 to 30% more efficient. I can focus people into different areas. Adding the robots to our automated line has allowed me to build that product 4 times a week instead of 2 times a week like I did in the past. For the ROI on purchasing the robot is slightly less than a year actually. So I'm very happy about that. And then for the automation project overall, I was ahead of budget quite a bit.
We've really found that companies that can integrate the robot themselves, they understand the application and the hardware a lot better, and it allows them to support their projects themselves and to help find other applications throughout their facility for collaborative robots.
Now that I have a couple of great applications for robots, I'm definitely planning to use more robots throughout the factory. We are very interested in the palletizing station. It keeps people from reaching and bending by having a robot load the pallets. We could easily replicate the automation line that we've created now 2 or 3 more times in our production area and accomplish the same thing with other products.
Wow. So when you take a look at that factory right there in Oregon, it's like just seeing how the robots came in and they were able to help, they speed up the process of how quickly they can get things out. Even with being able to, if you caught the part where the guy came on, he said, they have to put screws in here, and a lot of the times the people will miss it and they're kind of bored with it and they don't really want to do that job. But when the robot comes in and does it, they get it right and they do it quickly. And the way they're able to box everything up, check it, and just get it along. So you're really starting to see how the robots are coming alongside people and they're making their jobs easier, and they're helping, like this company, for example, to be able to produce more, make more, and just be more efficient in what they're doing. And so again, it's a positive of a robot being able to help. Okay, let me put on the video now for the driverless cars, okay? So this one, I know everybody always loves to watch this one because it is pretty fascinating. So
because self-driving cars are essentially computers, they're prone to the same problems computers have. But what would their record be like when everything works as it should?
Here we go on our first ride in an autonomous vehicle. It's just me in the car and the robot. Everything we do from here on out is going to be the autonomous vehicle taking full control. While we were driving across this campus just now, a child ran in front of the car. And as promised, the autonomous vehicle did its job. It stopped.
1.25 million. That's the number of people who die in auto accidents every year worldwide. In the United States, more than 40,000 people were killed in accidents in 2016, 6% more than the previous year.
It's much worse than all terrorist attacks, much worse than all plane crashes. And we never really talk about it. I'm on a mission here. When I was 18 years old, I lost my best friend in a traffic accident due to a split-second bad decision. And I felt it was just such a waste. And as a technologist, I felt, I gotta fix this. I actually believe with only self-driving cars, there will be no accidents. Cars don't text, they're not distracted, they're not drunk, they pay attention all the time. They're so much better than people.
That's the goal, but how do we get there? For answers, I went to Waymo, the self-driving arm of Google's parent company in Silicon Valley, where engineers are building technology that has clocked more than 4 million miles of autonomous driving. Jamie Wado is the lead systems engineer who came to Waymo after putting a rover on Mars for NASA. She also co-wrote Waymo's playbook on autonomous driving safety.
We have layers of safety around the vehicle. We have radars that can see the speed of things, so we know if they're moving or static objects. We have lasers, LiDARs, that paint a 3D image of the world. They can see a football helmet 2 football fields away, and they can see 360 degrees around the car. And all of that allows us to see things and see them very far away and see them at high resolution to make all of those decisions and understanding about our world. So you can see the things playing out in front of you and you can slow down and respond safely.
Before I left, I had to ask, what's more difficult, getting driverless cars here on Earth or putting a rover on Mars?
It's self-driving cars by far.
So when are we going to know that these cars are safe enough to drive? I asked a lawyer who's an expert on that very question.
This is one of the really tough questions, not just how safe is safe enough, but how do we know that the vehicle is that safe?
How do we know? How will we know?
We don't, and we're not sure. I think that there will be a lot of new issues that automation creates, but ultimately, we are ill-served by today's transportation system. We talk about the car traditionally as being this symbol of freedom. You're not free if you're dead.
This is the part that really freaks people out. If my car is the one doing the driving, how can I trust it not to kill me? Or someone I love? In a bad situation, will the car choose one person over the other? It's a question philosophers call the trolley problem. Picture this. A trolley car is heading down a track toward a family of 5 that are stuck. You can save them by pulling a lever and changing the course of the train. But there's one man stuck on the other track. Is it more ethical to let the family die or sacrifice the one man so they can be saved? What would a car driven by a computer do?
It's not that the trolley problem is impossible to come up. It's not, but an error has been made if that were ever to occur. If you're ever in a situation where you're faced with a trolley problem, the car has made a much more serious error. It should have been more conservative so that it was never faced with that situation.
In other words, we may be thinking about this all wrong.
If you think about a computer playing chess, it's moving many, many moves ahead, more moves than you possibly could, and analyzing. The computer is able to process this environment and anticipate much better than you could, and operate with much better accuracy than you can. We're able to track objects all around the car and detect them with superhuman levels of perception.
This, of course, all assumes that the car is in working order. But these cars are computers, after all. And any computer can be hacked.
So what do you guys think? Would you get into the driverless car if it came to pick you up? So as you can see from watching that video clip, I love how they go and they really explain, the process of coming up with the car, and just there's just so much that they've put into it. But again, they still aren't able to guarantee that it's 100% safe, right? And they're able to say, okay, well, these are some pros, these are some cons, and we're just really not at a place yet where we can just confidently tell people, yeah, just go ahead, like everything will be great, right? And if you remember to the beginning of the video, we saw the car was driving on the college campus, and then some kids came running out and it stopped, right? And so it did what it was supposed to do. But then, like they said at the end of the video, they have computers in them, and computers can be hacked. And we think about all these crazy possibilities of what could happen if there were a lot of driverless cars on the road and then they did get hacked. I mean, gosh, it would be complete chaos, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what will happen with these. Will they start getting more of them on the road? Will they scratch the idea? I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of debate going on. But I do know for sure that you guys in your future, you'll be hearing a lot more about these things, because there are so many people out there who are working to really make them become a reality and to become part, of our everyday lives. So something for you guys to keep on your radar, as you get older and, by the time you're driving, what will cars be like, right? Okay, so the next thing that we are going to move to are dirty jobs. So I put on here COVID-19, so working with infectious diseases. Why? Because that can be considered a dirty job. It can also be considered dangerous, right? Putting somebody's, health at risk by them being in touch with somebody that has the virus. So we will be taking a look at robots that are helping. If you remember last year, we did a whole lesson on robots that were helping with the coronavirus, and we had watched a whole video, and they had all different ones, and you guys had to rate something on it. So yeah, so that would be a dirty job. I put a picture here of the sewage scraper. So these are robots that go down into the sewers. Now they help people. So they're scientists, they test the specimens down in the sewers, and they're able to detect different bacteria and viruses and things that are living down there. And this is all part of, especially big cities, we need these robots to help us to be able to see if the water is safe, right, for the people. Like when you turn on your faucet every single day, you want to believe that the water that you're drinking is a good quality, right? And that it doesn't have any sort of, bacteria or viruses in it when you take a shower, right? And so believe it or not, these little robots are super helpful in protecting people and helping to gather data when they go down and they collect specimens. So, what do you think? If that was your job, would you want to climb down into the sewers and get some specimens? Probably not. It's pretty dirty. So it'd be nice if you had your handy dandy, sewage scraper robot, and you put it down and it was able to do it for you, right? So again, another way that robots can help with different jobs, in this example, dirty jobs. Okay, so I have, this is our last video clip. Let me put it on.
Starship Technologies' delivery robots attract the paparazzi everywhere they go.
Smile, girls.
These local celebrities are delivering for Broad Branch Market in Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh, look.
Tracy Stannard is the owner.
This is what they do. They just send me this. Like, I don't have enough video of the robots. But everybody loves them. Look how cute they are.
The market does not normally deliver, but in March, the city issued orders for social distancing to tamp down the spread of the coronavirus.
It was getting a little too risky to have so many people in the market because we would get super busy. We wanted to keep people outside, and then the bots seemed like a great option.
The robots can carry about 9 kilograms and deliver to about a 5-kilometer radius. Customer Rob Oken says it's good for what would normally be a quick trip to the market.
I love the fact that it'll come right to my house and that I don't even have to go into the store. It was actually super easy, and it makes it a lot safer to keep social distancing.
Other companies, including KiwiBot, Postmates, and of course Amazon, are also doing robot deliveries. But the industry has struggled to make money. Robotics companies in general are having a hard time, according to the trade group Silicon Valley Robotics Managing Director, Andra Kay.
I'm seeing robotics companies shut down, even in the last month, but particularly in the last year because they were too early for the market.
Where robots are really stepping up is doing dirty and dangerous jobs, according to the Association for Advancing Automation, a trade group. Jeff Bernstein is president.
Disinfectant robots, for instance. If you right now are in a hospital or an office or a warehouse, you probably would like to have a robot do the disinfecting so that people don't have to go in there and do that. Makes it safe before the people come into work.
Robots are zapping germs in a Belgian hospital and spraying disinfectant in the Hong Kong subway. They're delivering food and medicine in hospitals in India and Thailand so that health workers can keep their distance. And maybe those are the best places for robots right now. Managing deliveries in the outside world is hard and full of pitfalls. Sidewalks are tricky, but people are trickier.
It says right on it, open here. Okay, now how to do that.
Uh-oh. It'll be easier for the next generation. Theirs and ours.
Moving! Follow that robot!
Steve Baragona, VOA News.
So pretty amazing, right? To be able to see how these robots are helping with dirty jobs and just making people's lives easier and making people's lives safer, right? With this COVID-19 virus, having them go into the subways, disinfect. So really, they are helping people. So nice to see. Okay, so let's move to our last reason for robot, delicate jobs. So some of these jobs may involve manufacturing, farming, agricultural, anything that requires precision, surgery. That's the one that I want to show you guys. So I have a video of a surgeon, and I love how he explains how he uses the robot during his surgery to really just help him to be precise in what he's doing. And obviously it really matters because it's somebody's body and their life, right? Okay, so let me put it on. Sorry, I lied. This is the last video clip. Okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fong. I'm a general surgeon and I work in Raffles Hospital, Singapore. I do surgery for the abdomen such as gallbladder surgery, inguinal surgery, and my subspecialty is colorectal surgery, which means surgery for the big intestines. And I work with the latest robot for the general surgeon called the Da Vinci Xi. So what is a robotic surgeon? A robotic surgeon uses the robot to make your surgery better. The Da Vinci Xi can be used to perform minimally invasive surgery in the abdomen for any surgery. We use it mainly for colon cancer and rectal cancer resection. It is especially useful when we have a large hernia in an obese patient with inguinal hernias and ventral hernias. Our urologists use it to remove prostate and renal tumors, and our gynecologists use it to perform gynecological surgeries such as hysterectomies. The robot needs an operator to do the surgery, and we do it here at a console. The surgeon moves his hands and fingers, and the robot replicates it within the patient's body. Using the robot requires specific training. Only a handful of surgeons can do robotic surgery well. Robotic arms are very small and delicate, and they allow the surgeon to do very fine surgery deep in a patient's abdomen. These controls allow human movements to be translated to even fine movements at 2:1 or even 3:1 proportions. Operating with traditional instruments at far distances makes tremor pronounced. Tremor is present in everyone, especially as you get older. The robot completely removes tremor. The camera in the robot combines the most advanced technologies in all laparoscopic conventional camera systems to give us the best view, including three-dimensional magnification. What all these technologies means that it gives us, the robotic surgeons, the best tools available to do very fine and precise surgery. So, is robotic surgery really better than conventional surgery? That is a good question, and the answer is, it depends. If you are comparing robotic surgery with open surgery, where the surgeon opens a big wound in the tummy, puts both hands inside the abdominal cavity and does the surgery, then robotic surgery is definitely better. Because the wounds are smaller, you would have less problems related to wound infection and long-term issues such as hernias, where the small intestines bulge out into the abdomen, or adhesions, where the intestines stick together and cause chronic pain or obstruction. Now, you can also compare robotic surgery to conventional laparoscopic surgery, where instead of using both hands, you're also using small instruments inside the abdomen, but controlled manually by the surgeon's hand instead of through a robotic console. Now, in this instance, if both approaches manage to achieve successful surgery, then there will be almost no difference in the outcome. But where robotic surgery will be helpful will be in a few instances. Firstly, the surgery that you may be needing may be particularly difficult, and your surgeon may be telling you that perhaps we shouldn't be doing this using keyhole surgery, perhaps we should be doing this open. Now, sometimes the robotic surgeon may be able to do this still minimally invasively, and therefore you would be coming out better than if you were to go through with it using open surgery. Secondly, if a conventional laparoscopic surgeon encounters difficulty during a surgery, he may require to convert this to an open technique. If the same surgery is done using a robotic technique, this may not be necessary. Studies have shown that if you convert a minimally invasive surgery to an open technique, the outcome is poorer than if you started with an open technique in the first place. So in this instance, if we manage to do the surgery using a robotic technique, the surgery will be better off and the patient will have a better outcome. Lastly, the longer the surgery is, the better the robot is at keeping your surgeon working at peak competency. Some surgeries may last 9 hours, 10 hours, and in such instances, the robot will be able to keep the surgeon focused, comfortable, and working optimally in achieving the best result. There was one case in which the robot really helped us do a very good job for our patient. This particular patient was an elderly man who had a cancer of the rectum which was invading into the prostate, and surgery required us to remove both the rectum and the prostate together. I think there are only a handful of people in the entire world who would consider doing this surgery and achieve an acceptable outcome using a conventional laparoscopic technique. In this instance, me and my colleague managed to do this surgery successfully using a minimally invasive technique using the robot, and we didn't find any problems doing it at all. In short, for many surgeries, the robot may not make much of a difference. However, the more complex the surgery, the more likely the robot is able to achieve it with a satisfactory outcome using a minimally invasive technique. In addition, if there are unexpected findings, the surgeon will be more able to handle these using a robot and avoid a conversion to open.
Super fascinating, right? I love that video because he's really detailed in explaining the differences of, you know, the different types of surgery, and then how the robot is really able to come in and make it safer for the people, especially in cases where the surgery can be super complicated, it's risky, right? And then you think about the recovery time if you're having a surgery and you want to make sure that it's safe. So a great example of a robot coming in and helping with a delicate job and helping these surgeons. So for all of you guys out there who are interested in going into the medical field, and maybe you want to become a surgeon, this would be a really amazing area for you to receive training in, is how to use robots as part of my surgery, because that can really be a specialty for you. And especially as these become more and more a part of our lives, you know, it's going to probably be a requirement in your studies, how to use these robots as part of your practice, so that you can serve all types of patients with all different kinds of conditions, and to really give them the optimal care that they need for whatever it is that they're getting surgery for, right? Okay, so that ends our review. So I will quickly pull up, let me get rid of this PowerPoint. So again, this is the review sheet. So at this point, we have gone over everything on this sheet. And so what I would like you to do for homework is to complete it. So you can, I put it in a Word doc, so you can type in the answers, you can save it and then email it to me. Another option, if you really don't want to do that option, is printing it out and writing them in, but you have to write neatly so I can understand, and then just scanning it and sending me the copy. But I think it would be easier if you just open the Word doc and type the answers in, save it, and then email it to me. Okay? All right, guys, so I will see you next week. If you need anything, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep an eye out for everybody's assignment. Okay? All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.